Так это самое, кукулити-кукусики получается. Сейчас звук есть, картинка есть, можно играть.
She's been at it for over 2 hours. What is she even testing?
Nothing. At this point, she's just doing it for fun.
Excuse me, Doctor?
Ah, it's you. You're here then. Yes, I know who you are. We all do. While I'm sure Father is very happy that you're here, I do hope it doesn't interrupt our work.
What is it you're working on?
Advanced Systems Special Projects. You've seen the boy, Synth, already. We've been hard at work on him for quite a while now. Oh, before I forget, let me see that Pip-Boy of yours. I've been told to install a Courser chip in it for you. Father's orders. You're to be given full access, with the ability to relay in and out of the Institute at will.
A Courser chip? What's it do?
The same thing it does for our coursers. Creates a link to the relay that allows them, and now you, to get in and out at will. In case the significance is lost on you, you'll be the only one here with that kind of access. If nothing else, it should demonstrate the amount of trust Father has placed in you. Now, unless there's something else, I really do need to get back to work.
Is everything okay, Dr. Lee? You seem pretty tense.
Yes, things are... It's fine. I'm sorry, I don't socialize much. I prefer to focus on my work.
Dr. Lee. Tell me about the people in your division.
I'm not sure what there is to say. Dr. Watson is the Specialist Project's lead scientist. He's, how to put it, very organized and precise. Dr. Ormond is one of the youngest scientists in the Institute, and she's something of a prodigy when it comes to physics.
Dr. Lee. I'd like a progress report on your division, if you don't mind.
Taking your new appointment in stride, I see. Very well. We've shifted resources off of other projects, like the Child Synth, to focus on Phase 3. I'm hoping that the above-ground efforts are successful. I understand those depend heavily on you.
I wish I had more time to spend with Quentin, but I can't be in 2 places at once. We haven't been able to crack that one yet.
Вчера я, получается, собрал сбегал за схемой, собрал этот коллайдер. И все, переместился в институт и просто поговорил с Шоном. Все, пока что больше ничего не успел сделать. Ну и вот только-только вот тут смотрю, это первое вот общение типа с учеными, там всякое вот такое вот.
Have you had time to examine my latest reports on batch 274? Not yet. I've been reviewing Father's plans to expand our operations at Warwick. He's eager to get that going, so I've had to put everything else to one side.
I wonder how the Warwick family is doing. Young Wally must be close to 10 years old by now. It's remarkable that any child can survive for so long up there, don't you think?
I try not to think too much about it. We have more than enough to occupy ourselves here. And those people are the last remnants of a dying past. It's best not to dwell on the subject.
They're still people, and they're suffering. We can at least admit that it's regrettable. After all, how can we hope to redefine mankind if we can't even hold on to our own humanity?
Well, that's a question best left to our colleagues in the robotics division.
Yes, well... I suppose you're right.
It's great to have you here.
Hey, Doc.
Welcome. So good to have you here. Dr. Clayton Holdren, head of the Bioscience Division. I can't wait for you to see the work we're doing. It's truly amazing.
Like what?
I was just about to explain that. As the name implies, the Bioscience Division specializes in fields of study such as botany, genetics, and medicine. Our most important directive is to ensure the health and well-being of everyone in the Institute. To that end, we cultivate highly specialized breeds of flora for use in food and medicine. We've even started to explore the idea of synthetic animal life. You probably saw the gorillas. They're really just a pet project at this point, but the potential is exciting nonetheless.
The gorillas are synths too?
They are indeed. Judging by your reaction, we've done a good job making them seem lifelike. The initiative is still in its early stages, but the prospects are very exciting. I'm sure I've taken up enough of your time as it is, but I have to ask, have you decided whether you'll join us?
I'm an outsider. Would there even be a place for me here?
Even if science isn't your passion, there are plenty of ways to contribute. Our projects sometimes require an agent who can work on the surface to observe and gather information. From what I've heard, you are both fearless and resourceful. I think you'd be ideal for that kind of role. In any case, I imagine you'll want to continue looking around. Or, if you prefer, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
You mentioned medical care. I might need that from time to time.
In that case, you'll want to introduce yourself to Dr. Dean Volkert. He's our top biologist and also serves as the Institute's resident physician. Dr. Volkert works in the infirmary. Just pay him a visit whenever you need to. You won't find better medical care anywhere else in the Commonwealth. I'll promise you that.
Dr. Holdren.
Something I can do for you?
Tell me more about those synth gorillas.
On the whole, I'd say they were a success. Their behavior does generally match what our historical data says it should be. Unfortunately, we had a few early setbacks. The creatures can become suddenly aggressive, and they're quite strong. They destroyed 2 of their synth handlers. So now we keep them in an isolated habitat where they can be safely observed.
Clayton.
Anything I can help you with?
Is there anything I can do to help out?
There might be. Tell you what, you get settled in and check back with me later. I'll see what I can find out.
Dr. Holdren's Synth Gorilla project is showing promising results. You're here. Glad you made it.
Excuse me.
Father's work has been a real inspiration for me.
Scanning. Unknown identity. Clearance confirmed.
You know the protocol, sir. Authorized personnel only.
So Dr. Ayo thinks he can hide in his office, does he? Well, you can tell him that I intend to speak to Father about these unannounced security sweeps of yours. Ransacking my quarters in the middle of the night is totally unacceptable.
I'll pass along your message, Doctor.
See that you do.
Reporting status. All functions normal.
Just a routine patrol.
I'm seriously thinking of heading over to robotics to knock some heads together.
What now?
They're dragging
Father's
their
a great
feet on the
man.
targeting package
You must be
upgrades I
very
asked for.
proud.
Maybe I
Did
should
I
take some
turn off
courses
the
with me.
interferometer?
Send a message.
It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Please don't. There's enough friction as it is between us and pretty much all the other departments.
Hi, Doc.
You going soft on me, Alana? So, here you are. Justin Ayo, Acting Director of the Synth Retention Bureau. I'll be upfront with you. We're going to be keeping a close eye on you for the near future. Despite your relation to Father, you're a bit of an unknown quantity. I'm sure you understand. There won't be any issues, will there?
Why? Don't you trust me?
I'll be honest. You're an outsider. The first outsider to be allowed access to the Institute in quite a long time, in fact. There's little precedent for this situation, so it's only natural to take extra precautions, It's nothing personal, I assure you. Now, Father has asked that I provide you with a brief overview of the Synth Retention Bureau. Our primary responsibility is the recovery of escaped synths that are hiding among the human population on the surface.
Why would synths want to escape?
Synths do not want. They might look like human beings, but they're machines. As to why they're escaping? That matter is currently under investigation. Our main instrument is the Courser, a third-generation synth assigned to operate on the surface. Coursers hunt down and reclaim synths that have escaped the Institute. They are highly self-sufficient, trained in combat, infiltration, and tracking. In a word, our Coursers are relentless. But I gather you know all this, since you've encountered one already. In fact, I'd very much like to know how you defeated it. Combat programming, then it must be identified and corrected. I suppose I'll have to ask robotics to perform detailed diagnostics on the entire production run. As if we don't have enough problems. Now, unless you need something else, I'll get back to work.
You mentioned that coursers undergo special training. Tell me more about it.
The SRB constantly monitors our Gen 3 synth population, looking for specific traits. Those who show tenacity, fearlessness, and independence undergo a rigorous training regimen. We teach them armed and unarmed combat, investigative techniques, psychology, and mechanical skills. Those who pass a final evaluation become coursers. The rest have their memories wiped and return to their former duties.
Justin.
Yes, what is it?
I'd like to know more about the synth reclamation process.
Fine. Once a Courser has located a rogue synth, it uses that synth's recall code to wipe its memories and render it inert. We then begin the delicate process of restoring the neural pathways to their original configuration. In those cases where the procedure is successful, the synth returns to duty with no memory of its time on the surface. All too often, we're unable to repair the damage and are forced to dispose of the unit entirely.
Dr. Ayo.
Yes, what do you need?
If you're the acting head of the SRB, who are you filling in for?
Dr. Zimmer holds that position. He's supervising the retrieval of some of the more high-profile units. In his absence, I keep things running smoothly.
Everyone's excited about the new synth project. smell like you've been above ground.
Блять, я не то нажал, я не туда. Да похуй, я долбоёб. Сука, блять, ну сейчас нахуй туда-сюда на этом лифтике, блять. Флексить буду. Да где, блядь? Все. Короче, поговорил я с этим Шоном, блядь. И выяснил для себя, что... Ну их нахуй, этих бомжей, блядь. Пустынных я лучше буду, блядь, в этом... корешиться, блядь, с институтом. Охуеть можно. Тут то, что все такое красивое, нарядное. Блять, если я сейчас заблужусь, я отсюда телепортируюсь и не буду сотрудничать, блять, с институтом. Что за хуйня? Все ж поначалу так... Ёб твою мать, это что? За тут кубышечку. Кубышечку, блядь. Газировочки от купору. Это у нас сегодня Сангария. Сангария Сидор. Напиток газированный, безалкогольный. Сангария яблочная Сидор. Хадзикеты сайда. Дороготаная. Пойдет. Блять. Я такой щедрый. И сам попил. И кофту напоил. Так. О, блять. Вот оно. Вот оно. Блять, еще выше, что ли? Сука, вот тут. Не поймешь, куда. Ну и хули, куда мне надо-то, ёб твою мать. Так. Это получается... Я вот так могу пройти? Хуй, ну их нахуй, это какие-то дроиды из Star Wars, блять. Это мне страшно. Ну и хули, все нормально. Думал обратно возвращаться, блять.
Now that you've had a chance to see the Institute firsthand, what do you think?
You've got technology here that I never dreamed possible. It's amazing.
I'm glad you can appreciate what we've accomplished. None of it has been easy. Ultimately, all our knowledge and resources are focused on a single goal: The goal is best summarized by our motto: mankind, redefined. Unfortunately, no advancement comes without occasional setbacks. As remarkable as our synths are, they can be dangerous without proper supervision. The superior synth mind and body attempting to wrestle with something approaching free will can be a recipe for chaos.
What do you mean by proper supervision?
I mean that while they are here in the Institute, fulfilling the purpose for which they were designed, our synths perform admirably. As you're about to see, however, they can become unpredictable when set loose. A rogue synth has taken over the Raider gang at Libertalia. His memories have been erased, and his identity altered. He believes he's a man named Gabriel. Under his leadership, the Raiders have taken many innocent lives. I've dispatched a Courser to Libertalia. I'd like you to join him and reclaim that synth.
Who erased his memories? And why?
Those idealistic radicals who call themselves the Railroad are behind it. We'll deal with them in time. But right now, the priority is to reclaim that synth before more harm is done. Now you should get moving. Many people are in danger, and a delay could cost lives.
Sean.
You should get going. There's no time to waste.
Вот, охуительно, я уже стал, блядь, шестеркой нахуй. Ты еще тут или я все, я уже, блядь, один тут остался? Что сказал? Кто сказал? Я сказал? А, я понял. Да я спросил, типа, ты еще тут, не тут. Помнишь там этот, как его, Громила? В этом, как его? В этом море светящемся, блядь, вот тут. Ой, это хорошо, что тут. Вот, короче, вот этот Громила, он же просил, чтобы я зашел в его кабинет и нашел ему сыворотку, от которой он там работал. Блять, а ты не помнишь, где этот кабинет? Или это надо все-таки этот гуглить пойти? Или хотя бы что за задание? Потому что я смотрел, что-то этого задания я вообще так и не... Так, блять, я смотрел по заданиям. Смотри, вот встретиться с охотником, Сэндерс. Это вот вирусы я скачал. Поговорить с жителями, блять. Это тоже не то. Зачистку провести. Тут с Дяконом, блять, на старом шоссе. Это с Пайпер поговорить. Смотреть корабль Братства Сталину. Это точно не то. Поговорить с жителями какой-то теплицы, блять, еще что-то какое-то говно, блять. Это настроиться на частоту, это не то. И вот там дальше идут выполненные, и вот тут разное есть. В разном, типа, смотреть в музее ведьм, поговорить с Бобби, с каким-то Бобби, блять. Отдать Шеффилду ядерколу, ознакомиться с делами. Поговорить об этом, блять, поговорить. Все, больше нет. Ага, сейчас чекаю. Ну, там терминал, блядь, его взломать там очень сложно, и у меня еще не прокачано. Или вы можете пойти более сложным путем. Осуществить взлом двери в лаборатории. Второй путь. Да, я вот второй путь сейчас читаю. Но он говорит, блядь, более сложным путем. Осуществить взлом двери в лабораторию. Идите вглубь отдела бионаук. Через помещение с плантациями растений, а потом по коридору двери в лабораторию. Минус в том, что второй способ предполагает более длинный путь до непосредственно рабочего места, тогда как первый способ предполагает, что вы попадете сразу туда, куда вам нужно. Ну, сломайте дверь в небольшую комнату с разбитыми окнами. Все у вас есть в старых припасах и лекарствах. Затем следуйте дальше по коридорам лаборатории, но знайте, что почти за каждым поворотом вас ждут пулеметные турели. Однако после опасно... Кого, блядь? Опасный враг спереди. А именно за запертой дверью. А, так там, блядь, штурматрон будет. Ну, как я понимаю, я могу вообще когда угодно этот квест выполнить, поэтому пока что нахуй идет этот квест. Блять, что здесь нужно? Ты, кстати, за кого проходил это по итогу? За институт? Короче, скажу так. За подземку я не хочу, потому что... Так не допрошла, ну а проходить-то начинала за кого? Короче, за подземку я не хочу, потому что они бомжи, блядь. Блядь, не знаю, я пойду, наверное, все-таки... Все миром пройти. Это как? Это типа... Все миром пройти, это типа, чтобы этот... Короче, на всех ишачить, как я понимаю. Это надо типа всем помогать. Да?
There's a bar in the old theater district that's for raiders only. A combat zone. I'd stay clear if I was you.
Hey, Sheffield.
So thirsty. Nuka-Cola.
Here you go.
Common decency. What a pleasant change.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
I think we ought to talk.
What's wrong?
Wrong? Oh, no, nothing's wrong. We've just been traveling a while now, and I figure there hasn't exactly been equitable distribution of information. I've gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about me. I figured I'd offer to balance the board. So, is there anything you want to know?
What do you remember about the Institute?
It's all pretty hazy from back then, but now and then I get glimpses. Life inside the Institute, they keep you isolated. A single test chamber was my whole world for years, and someone was always watching. Then one day you wake up on the other side, and that's it. They've cut you loose. Welcome to the brave new world, with such people in it.
What's with the outfit?
After I started the agency, it just seemed like the sort of thing a detective ought to wear. I got some old memories, pre-war. Faded to all heck of guys dressed like this, doing what I do. Putting on the hat and trench coat, I figured it'd let folks know I was serious about the whole thing. Clothes make the man and all that. Guess I felt they made me the man I wanted to be.
So who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. But my memories, my personality, they're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. Hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
Wait, the original Nick was from my time?
Sure was. Which meant when I finally ended up out here, it was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. He'd have had fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
А виснет именно стрим или качество стрима?
Would love to know your thoughts on the matter.
Where's that town? We should go visit.
I tried to go back and say thanks, once I'd gotten myself established. But the place was wiped off the map. Raiders. Don't know what happened to the people.
Блять. Сейчас я посмотрю.
Nothing to say on the subject?
Это у меня хуйня, походу. Да, блять. Ладно, сейчас, короче, это, да, этот... добазарим, и я перезапущу просто стрим, потому что у меня иногда бывает такое, я не знаю почему. Когда оно типа крашится, и Майнкрафт какой-то, блядь, начинается. Так, чё он тут?
Where's that town? We should go visit.
I tried to go back and say thanks once I'd gotten myself established, but the place was wiped off the map. Raiders. Don't know what happened to the people.
If you're good to people, they'll be good back. That's something I've always believed.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out.
Так, давай сейчас посмотрю. Попробую походить. Посыпется качество или нет. Да, посыпалось. Булдыга, блять, ебаная. Ладно, сейчас я перезапишу.
Read the public to find out.